Odium is like, cool, 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 that sounds great. Pretty weird, right? Like, lightning, lightning, lightning. Yes. Hi guys, it's Isa, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna discuss part 3 of Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. This part follows the points of view of Kaladin, Navani, and Venli. We do get a little bit of Dalinar, but it is really brief. So let's get to it. We start this part with very strong interludes. We begin with Moash having a heart-to-heart conversation with Odium in which he confesses how he won't be fulfilled unless he makes Kaladin surrender his emotions to Odium. And so Odium is like, cool, 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 that sounds great. And together they plan to plague Kaladin with nightmares in order to push him to his limit and make everything unbearable. On the other hand, we have Taravangian. He is more on the regular spectrum of intelligence at this point, but he has concluded that Odium is not undefeatable. He hasn't beaten Dalinar, and whenever Renarin is around, it seems that the destiny is not fixed. And so right there, in that moment, he decides that he will continue fighting. Then the story moves on and actually starts with Navani and Kaladin being in Uruthero, Navani being under the orders of the Lady of Wishes and Kaladin hidden with Teft. Their plan is to take care of Uruthero by protecting the different nodes of the sibling. If you remember, there were 4, one of them was already destroyed in part 2, so 3 remaining. And while protecting the sibling, they also want to get a word to Dalinar that they are actually under siege and that they are in danger. But things aren't as planned. Lady of Wishes is very savvy, she is very old, and seems to find these nodes very quickly. She starts finding the second node very early in this part, kicking off with the first fight scene. As soon as Navani discovers that Lady of Wishes has found this second node, she gets word to Kaladin through the sibling, through the wall, and he just goes there to fight and protect the node. When he gets there, he, surprise, surprise, is faced with the pursuer, who for the first time realizes that Kaladin is actually alive and it's there, and he just makes his promise that he is gonna kill him. Nonetheless, Kaladin fights, wins, escapes, but sadly destroys the second node. Then both Kaladin and Navani start to be more desperate because there's just 2 nodes remaining. They need to get word to Dalinar, and so Kaladin starts to do some inspections within Uruthero while Navani tries to keep understanding how the different lights work and actually doing work for Lady of Wishes. Suddenly, Navani discovers that the listeners have found the 3rd node. Pretty weird, right? Like, that was fast. Either way, Navani is desperate and she gets to send word to Kaladin right in that moment, begging him to go, and then she, after doing that, she realizes that it was all a trap presented by Lady of Wishes to 1, confirm that the sibling is alive and that he can talk with different people and that in fact Navani has been using the sibling, and 2nd, to get a hand on Kaladin and to kill him. So there's that. Kaladin, oblivious of what's happening, that this is a trap, gets to the 3rd node, discovers that everything wasn't as expected, and starts to fight a very unfair fight with the pursuer, which he is actually losing. He is full of cuss, he is very tired, he hasn't been sleeping throughout all this part of the book, and he basically just destroys the 3rd node and just launches himself through the storm to actually search for a miracle or die. From here, we move to Dalinar points of view, who has been in this quest to reconquer this city with Jasna, the Radiant, and the rest of the soldiers. However, while being there, he starts to reflect on his role, and he decides that he is not meant to be a general of the war anymore, but rather a Radiant. He needs to understand his powers better in order to just save everyone. Stormfather approves because while reflecting on that, he communicates with Dalinar and suggests to go and ride a storm together. Dalinar accepts because how cool is that, but also because that's an opportunity to go and check what's happened in Urithiru, because it seems that things aren't as good as it should. So they go together and we see how Dalinar actually starts pushing Stormfather. He pushes him to be better, and for the first time, I think, we see how his voice resonates in the storm with lightning. Whenever Dalinar commands Stormfather to be better, to push himself, we see a lightning. So it's very epic. It's like, okay, we move forward. Lightning, lightning, lightning. Yes. We approach Urithiru, and Dalinar sees that something is actually wrong, that everything passes so fast, it's just out of grasp. And so Dalinar requests Stormfather to go back with lightning, lightning, lightning. Eventually, Stormfather goes back. The storm goes back a little bit, let's say, and Dalinar is able to go and see in more detail Urithiru, seeing that it's someone in the storm. He approaches Kaladin, allowing him to fulfill his mission to actually let Dalinar know that they are in danger, that they are under siege, and that everything is a trap. Dalinar, in that moment, realizes the trap and encourages Kaladin to survive, to resist, in a very heart-wrenching scene in which Dalinar says to Kaladin, please resist life before death. And Kaladin tries to repeat that and says, yes, life before ... Lastly, we get to Venli points of view. She has discovered that in the tower in Urithiru, her powers are undetected, that she can actually test her radiant powers with timber without being in danger. And so by doing that, she discovers that she can actually create a hole in the wall, in the rock, and she starts to plot that as their way to escape. She will now recruit more people and try to escape Lady of Wishes, who she starts to think is not good news, through this wall. And so that was it. I hope you enjoyed this part of the book. For me, it was a little bit of ups and downs. It wasn't as gripping as it was part 2. I'm really concerned on what's happening with Shallan. I'm all the time was like, but where's Shallan? What's happening to her? But let me know down below in the comments, what are you thinking? Did you enjoy this part? Did you prefer another one? Let me know. I would love to hear. See you guys soon. Bye!